Just a disclaimer before I start the video officially. I do not hate anyone who enjoys the character Dazai. I just want to talk about why I personally don't like him for commentary purposes. In case you just didn't know, Dazai is a character from the anime/manga Bungo Stray Dogs, and which is a very good show. I personally really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite shows. I won't go too deep into the show's lore, considering if you're watching this, you probably have watched it and you know who Dazai is. So, unless you're just watching this for fun, I don't know what to say much. Dazai is a very, very popular character in Bungo Stray Dogs that many people adore and many people find a good character, and I do not blame them for that. Dazai is a well-written character that can be enjoyed by a lot of people. Also, sorry if this video is a bit wonky, as I'm not reading off a script, I'm just saying things off directly the top of my head. I, of course, have some bias against Dazai because one of my favorite characters is Akutagawa, and he is heavily abused by Dazai. For example, in the show, when Akutagawa is too weak, he decides to shoot Akutagawa, which Akutagawa doesn't die because he is able to protect himself with Rashomon. One thing I noticed about the fandom is that a lot of people think he's just a quirky, suicidal man who is just funny, there for entertainment purposes, which he is, of course. It's an entertaining show, but they kind of simplify and dumb down his character a lot. People like this character for many different reasons, and it's either because he's a well-written character, or he's funny, or even simply because he's conventionally attractive. Some people also like him because they ship him with Chuya, which I also do that, because it's a good ship. Sukoku is a good ship. It is definitely one of the more popular ships, if not the most popular ship in the entirety of the fandom. Personally, my favorite ship is actually canon, and it is actually Francis and Zelda, and I just find their relationships is nice, and, Francis is my favorite character overall. Back to Dazai, it could partially be kind of about the fandom, because the fandom often really likes to sexualize him and just completely ignore his character. Honestly, though, I think the fandom is a nice place to interact with other fans of the show. The main reason why I don't like Dazai so much is simply because of how he treats Akutagawa. Even after Akutagawa has done so much to achieve his approval, Dazai doesn't really showcase the pride. He often puts more of the attention on Atsushi and treats him more nicely. This is obviously favoritism, which I can't really argue against because it really goes deep into Akutagawa's character itself, but one scene that just saddens me is when Dazai uses Akutagawa's personal weakness and gives Atsushi the task to go ahead and tell Akutagawa that Dazai needs to talk with him. In this scene, Akutagawa is very desperate to actually impress Dazai and lunges out towards the thing Dazai is calling on. But Atsushi quickly throws it. Akutagawa jumps down the building, and then Dazai immediately hangs up on him. Dazai is a manipulative person and knows how to exploit others' weaknesses in order for them to perform best. Since Dazai knows Akutagawa personally, as he was his mentor in the Port Mafia, he uses his knowledge on Akutagawa to manipulate him into doing what he wants. This could definitely be a part of character development where, since when he was abusive, he was in the Port Mafia, a literal mafia, so he was able to do whatever he wanted, but when he got into the armed detective agency, apparently he could have gotten nicer because it's a different type of agency. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that even after he joins the ADA, he is still pretty manipulative and abusive to Akutagawa, and also neglectful and expecting more out of him. He's clearly a mentally challenged guy considering how much he wants to kill himself. Dazai is constantly setting out on a way to commit suicide, specifically double suicide with a so-called pretty lady. In fact, a lot of his personality is even based around the fact that he wants to die. Although what I've noticed is that some people brush this fact aside and treat him like someone that's silly and someone that's immature. He clearly has a mental turmoil in his head, and I believe that he is a well-written character. I just personally don't like the character as a character. I am not saying that he is poorly written or that he serves no purpose to the story. He serves a huge purpose to many characters' arcs and the entire story in general. To remove him or kill him off in the series which is not what I wish for, is detrimental to the series, and this is not my intention when I say things. Near the end of season 2, he does in fact tell Akutagawa that he's proud, but I still feel like it was kind of weird. Obviously, even after that, he does not apologize to him for the way he has treated him in the past, and still treats Atsushi way better. Keep in mind, this is all just an opinion, and I just simply have a bias for Akutagawa because he is my second favorite character. Dazai feels like a very realistic archetype of real people in the world that are manipulative, abusive, etc. I simply don't like him as a character, as I have said before. Also, he still acts the exact same way to Akutagawa that he acted in the Port Mafia. This is clearly not, oh, he got nicer because he's in the detective agency now. No. He's still mean, he's still abusive, and he's still exploitative of Akutagawa's weaknesses. This clearly isn't a change of his character from how he ages or what kind of agency he is in now. He is specifically using Akutagawa's weakness against him. He did not suddenly become a better person because of Odasaku's death or the fact that he's working for better people now instead of a mafia. Akutagawa is known to have a lung problem throughout the entire show, hence his constant coughing. Dazai still repetitively kicked and punched Akutagawa during his training to help him better his control of Rashomon in the Port Mafia. There's also something about him that I just cannot stand at all, and that is just his personality in general. Yes, I understand that he is sometimes a comedic character, he is smart, he can be funny, he can be many different things. He seems to not care about his own life, which is very obvious, but he also seems to not care about others. It is one thing to be suicidal and another to just be completely nihilistic on everything. I know the toxic yaoi trope is very strong, but he also is mean to Chuya and bullies him. Chuya also does express the fact that he hates Dazai. This isn't just a secretly enemies to lovers kind of thing in canon. Sukokyu is a good ship. I enjoy the ship. I like toxic yaoi, but I just can't get past the way he treats Akutagawa. His personality, in my opinion, is insufferable in a way. He is also very often unserious in more serious situations, and I can kind of relate to that, but sometimes it's a bit too much. He often jokes about killing himself, which I guess a lot of suicidal people can technically do, but I don't think that's exactly the healthiest, and also it wouldn't really fly in real life. So yeah, in summary of this video, basically Dazai is an objectively good character and subjectively a bad person in my opinion. So yeah, if you made it all the way here to the end, thank you for coming all the way, and I appreciate it as this is my first video in commentary.